knock at the cabin. Let's go. Let's go. Actually,
Right, so we're
bro.
going to be talking about our movie review from an exclusive screening watching M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin. We got to watch it the
Yeah.
other day and it was absolutely an awesome experience. And we're going to give you our honest and hopefully truthful comments about the movie. So,
Yeah.
this movie is about a gay family that is vacationing at this remote cabin, and they're suddenly approached by four individuals who start knocking and banging on the windows saying that they need to come in. It's very intense. The family is like kidnapped almost, and they're given this ultimatum, save your family or save humanity. It's intense throughout. So I want to hear from you, Charlie. How did you feel?
Oh, bro. Like, first of all, can you start with the title? I know it's a book title, but like the knock at the cabin, it's very, like subtle. Like it's bold, bro. Like I know it's yes, it's the book, but in the movie itself, it makes it knock at the cabin. Literally everything is knock at the cabin. From the sound design, right? If you paid attention from the sound design, everything in the cabin had knocks, It created that suspense of knocks, even like with their weapons, when they had to do something, they would, wheel them down.
Yes, dude, that is such
And
intricate detail that you paid attention to. Wow. No, but it's true because that is one of the most important things that I wanted to talk about was the sound of
mhm,
this movie. The mic was like turned up to like 10 on this thing. You could hear every breath, every
yeah,
intake, every outtake. You could hear when they were nervous. You could hear that main actor that I think it's Aldridge, Ben Aldridge, the lawyer guy. When he was like
yes.
doing that quick inhale of that breath, you're like, like that kind of thing, like that like really nervous, almost panicky kind of raspy voice. There was like so much breath play in this movie. You
Yeah,
literally heard everything, every single move, every single knock, like you said. But the
you
breathing
felt it.
was the worst. I think the breathing added to the suspension the most because the movie was very silent. There was little to no
Yeah,
score, and it was mostly just hearing people breathing, you know, as
yeah.
they were talking. That
I'm
was so
happy
intense. That was such a unique element to the film. I haven't heard that or even seen that in a lot of films in a while.
that for that for us like should show you how important that movie was because even the scores were very like they were less, right? And it only focused on like what you're saying now, breathing, environment. It makes you feel like you also there. It makes you think. It makes you question, like, what would I
Exactly. It
do
kind
if
of
I
makes you
was
feel
there?
like you're really in that room and
Yeah.
breathing with them,
So
you know?
that was good. That was really good. And for me, how the actors like, Rupert Grint, I was like, hey, is this guy from Harry Potter? Is this Harry Potter's friend? He's grown now.
I was actually quite shocked how different of a portrayal he was in this, Way more
Yeah.
serious, way more rugged. I didn't expect Rupert Grint to ever be rugged, you know? That was really
But look,
interesting
like it
to
was
see.
a great movie because also, remember we spoke about how four of them play the four horsemen, and you only realize once they kill each other one by one. You're like, wait a minute. When they say humanity has been,
Judged.
judged, and you go back to say, hey, where did I hear this from? Oh, this and that. So you're like, oh, wait a minute. So these are the four horsemen. And you're like, oh. So like they were picked by, you know, love, caring, this, and you're like, holy, oh, like this was thought of so properly, but the twist of it,
That's what
of
I love
how,
about book adaptations. You always get a really thought out world building. It's not just some
yeah,
kind of slapstick scene play that was thrown together. You have like a backstory to each character. You have flashbacks. You have
mm,
character arcs. All these intricate things that go into the movie that you don't ever
Hmm.
really see in like just thrown together screenplays, you know?
Yeah. And
Because
to be
there's
honest, for me, yeah, continue, man.
Mm-mm, carry on.
Because for me, honestly, from any other apocalyptic movie, like this was far different.
Mm.
Everything was different
And
from
again, we
2012
also
and
talked about
onward.
this yesterday was the pacing. It was such a unique element for me because it was not rushed at all. They took their
Hmm.
time with it. And that's so important because so many times you see in movies, they just rush and rush to either the action or the horror part. But this was
Yeah.
more about us feeling that journey,
Yes.
feeling like you're saying
And
each of those
and
kills.
and also how short the journey was. It felt long.
Yes, it felt long, but it was still also short. You know, it was literally 2 days that it was done, but we felt
Yeah.
so much longer in it. But even still, it didn't make the movie long. They stayed to the movie
Hmm.
sort of schedule, you know?
Yeah.
And that's such a rare
Exactly.
element to
Exactly.
have that be in the same amount of duration, but also have the patience to go through the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I
You
really
know, I
loved it.
mean,
I love the
even
pacing. And we also
yeah, I
talked about
mean,
how the actors didn't do the usual. You know, they didn't get antsy. They didn't one of them didn't go
Dave
off.
Bautista,
Yeah, they
man.
didn't he kept them in line, bruh. He really kept them in line.
Dave, but Dave Bautista, man. Wow.
And
Yeah.
like they didn't like we talked about like even with Adrian, she was getting antsy, but she didn't. You know, we expected
Yeah.
her to
Yeah.
go off that deep end and like hit somebody in the head or something. But even though she still took the time to tell them about her son, to make them
Mm.
feel her loss, you know, those kinds of things. And it was really just intricate. And at the end of the day, it was also their sacrifice. It wasn't just the families. Each of them had
Yes.
sacrificed their lives
Yeah, but it was a
for
brutal
humanity,
sacrifice. God
you
damn it.
know?
Oh,
I kind of feel like that was the deeper sacrifices to me, each of theirs,
and
because they each gave
and
up
you
a
felt the
big portion of
sacrifice.
each lives. Exactly. You know, and with
You
the
felt the
families one,
sacrifice.
it was more like more like the ending that needed to happen, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, like, like Andrew, got, a concussion and everything, but the way he also at the end kind of saw something happening, but also, man, how he got to see it was also kind of cool. Like we just saw a glimpse of light, but he saw something.
Hmm.
And when he spoke about it, you literally go back to your brain and said, wait, I saw it, but I didn't see what he
Hmm.
saw. And it brings me back to what, his husband also didn't see. And
I actually
you
like the voice of the husband as well because he was sort of just debunking a lot of the stuff that normally happens. You know, when people
yeah,
try
he
to
was like
make
most people. He was
connections.
like most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a
No,
real
but no, no,
person.
he's actually not like most people because a lot of people do mistake these kinds of signs and thingies for more than it actually is. You know, so
No, but like
he
what I
was
mean
talking
is,
about those he was talking about the logical things that happen in the world. We
yes,
had COVID. That could have been a sign. We had
exactly.
we had what was it? The water crisis week recently. You know, we had the tanker explosion. We have so many things
The
that
signs are
happen.
there.
Yeah, we have so many things that happen that aren't signs. They're normal things that
Mm,
happen in this horrible world, you know, but people misconstrue it. And they do have those group psychosis things. So he was that voice. He was that
exactly.
logical voice that was talking about all these things that happen. Even though that wasn't the plot of the movie, is what really happens in real life that needs to also be addressed. You know, not everything
Yeah,
is a physical sign.
exactly. But also, his character also for me gave me a good view of the what could happen if when it kind of like happens, because you have two parties, the ones who deeply believe but they don't want to speak out, and then you have those ones who are very like another conspiracy theory happening, and then and then you find that there's a line between the two that only the other one will cross when it's actually happening, and you're like, oh Lord, uh what not, you know what I mean, like it gave you that thing, and for me, that was brilliant to do because it gave you two scenarios in one. You know, the other one believed internally but couldn't say much. The
Mm.
other one was like, nope, this is bull. Nope, this is bull. And each time they kill like someone is like, I don't care. This is bull. This is bull. But at the end, it literally
I still
gave
vibe
me,
with that though. I did vibe with that. The
yeah, it did.
because with your family, it's like I don't care. I will kill the world 1,000 times over for my family. You know, it's kind of like
And
that.
like the purest love also there kind of was like, oh, damn, okay. Like they didn't have anything to prove their love is pure, it's genuine. And you're like, okay, it's a great way to show it also because it's not your they went straight for a very different, couple, and which is great. If it was like a guy and a girl, it would have been typical, but they went for what the public doesn't like, you know, and they literally said, you guys have the purest love, you guys have the purest hearts, you guys are. And do you think to yourself when you're sitting home or watching the movie and you're like, yo, do I really have the purest heart? Am I gonna save the world if it comes to that? So this movie literally opens up a whole lot of boxes in humanity that people don't want to open up.
Mm.
And
And it
that
still is
knock,
that question, is humanity worth
yeah,
saving?
exactly,
Are we really worth saving?
exactly.
But also on your thought about the family, that was one of the points I wanted to and actually end the conversation on, was that the whole time, both of them, and through their experiences as well as a gay couple, thought that they were being
Hmm.
targeted. That was their first instinct,
Exactly.
that they were
Yeah.
being targeted, that this was a hate crime, even a long-winded hate crime at some point. That
That
they,
was great actually.
yeah. But at the end, you sort of realize that if this is a godly thing, if this is even a Bible thing, a biblical thing, whatever the case is, whatever they're being
Hmm.
judged by, whatever being or entity or even system that is somehow in place that's judging them, that's making them
Yeah.
this horrible choice. What is it intrinsically saying? It is saying, number one, they are a family, a
Mm.
regular, normal, perfect
Family.
family that is
Yeah.
that is in all eyes of whatever being you want to think of, normal. It's not out of the box. It's not something to hate on. It's just a normal family dynamic that was chosen.
And they
So that's why you
have
say
been
it's
accepted.
exactly accepted. That's a big word, right? Especially in the
Hmm.
LGBTQ community. So I think it
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
so important that was a great takeaway, that
Yeah.
this is a family for first and foremost that's being accepted and judged at the same time.
Hmm.
And I thought
Yeah.
that was so
Definitely.
powerful. It was such a good takeaway for everybody out there. Because even though
It
it was
was.
a horrible
It was.
choice, there was this wholesome thing that happened. And
Yeah.
yes, essentially they were being targeted, but for not the reasons that they thought
They thought, yeah, which was great
of.
actually to really see
It was the
that the
acceptance
black.
that they always wanted. It might be a horrible circumstance, but it was still the
Hmm.
acceptance that they always wanted, that they were a family, not something that was
Hmm.
out of the box or um, unnatural. And a lot of people say it's
Yeah.
unnatural. So it wasn't unnatural to have them,
Yeah.
sorry, be a family. Let's talk about Dave Bautista. So, in one
Ah,
of his recent interviews where he sort of denounced Drax for some crazy reason and said he doesn't ever want to be Drax again, and he wants to be more of a good fucking actor, which is what he said, a respected actor.
yeah.
He wants to leave a legacy behind. He wants to do good, thought-provoking performances. How do you feel that played into this now?
Look, man, I think on this one, Dave Bautista gave us a different Dave. I think in all the Daves we've seen, he's a hothead, he's witty, he doesn't care. I think I get his point why he doesn't want to play Drexler anymore because of he doesn't have a brain. He's a big guy who destroys. And I think he doesn't want to be portrayed as that. He feels like he's more than just that person, which I get. On this movie, he actually portrayed it very well because um as big as he is, and we thought that he was gonna be the one, shouting at everyone and doing all the things. But you could see it in his eyes and his actions that he's in the character. He
Yes,
is
and he didn't want to
giving you
hurt
that
anybody. He really
anyone. And the remorse you see in his eyes, the truth you see it in his eyes, everything for this character that they've played, um, which is Leonard, right? And
Leonard, yeah.
he was he was brilliant for me, man. And I think people should watch more of him, especially after this one. Knock at the Cabin for me. Dave brought a different Batista. He brought a different he brought a different Batista. He gave it his all, and you could see it. Visually you see it. Like this is the Dave that he wants to be. He wants to be an actor. He wants to show that he can act and portray certain characters, and he did it. I mean, he gave us like suspense where at the bathroom you thought, there we go, Dave is gonna come out and
But that's
face
where he
it.
was like a gentle giant, you know? That's why,
Yeah.
like the one thing with just one arm, he threw Jonathan
You threw
out the
Jonathan
door.
like nothing.
He was just like, boom, and Jonathan went flying through the door. That was
with,
classic.
with one
That was
arm.
classic, like a wrestler, you know?
With one arm, bro. With one arm. But look, he was good. He was good. And I think he's gonna probably get, obviously, people are different. He's gonna get a whole lot of people saying he wasn't good, he wasn't that. But
No, I
10 is
think they
better
have
than
more
nothing.
problem with the plot. I think they might have more problem with the let's say the plot or the story pacing, those kinds of things. Anything they're not used to, they have a
Mm.
problem with, you know?
And everything was good on this one. Like, everything was good for
Yeah, it
me. Like,
wasn't an M. Night Shyamalan story, though. That's the thing. It
mm-mm.
was a story that has already been told. It was a bestseller. It was a book that he just adapted. You know, let's not talk about his worst live action adaptation, the Avatar, The Last Airbender. That was a travesty of magnanimous proportions. Probably the worst live action we've ever seen in the last 20 years. You know, I don't even think Dragon Ball even messed up as bad as he messed up Avatar The Last Airbender, you know? That
Yeah,
left
yeah.
people with trauma, man. It left me with trauma. And
A lot of
I
us
was
have.
really hoping for more of an original M. Night Shyamalan story because it's been quite a while, you know, and he always comes up with the best twists in movies. But it's also
Yeah,
his scale, you know, he's either going to have one of the greatest twist movies you've ever watched, or he's going to have the worst movie you could possibly think of, you know?
that's true.
That's how he
That's true.
rolls. But
That's
here he
true.
just adapted somebody else's story. And the spin that I think that he put on it was the sound for one, which is a rare element in the movie, and the suspense. I think he's very good at suspense, you know, and in terms of
Yeah.
how that all plays out. But there wasn't really like a major magna crazy twist in this. I've been titling everywhere. You're never gonna be see it coming, and the thing is, you're never gonna see that there's no twist.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
That's how it's gonna end,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
But in an interview with Graham Norton, he said you shouldn't talk about the plot, the twists, the spoilers in the movie. Never in any of his movies do you talk about the spoilers in his movies.
Because they're easy to find also.
Yeah, easy to find, but at the same time, it's like you ruin it for everybody else if you talk
For
about it.
everybody
You know?
else, yeah.
That's
That's
like
why
the
like
one.
I'm
If it's a
keeping it
big
subtle
twist, then
also.
you shouldn't really talk about it. Um,
Yeah.
but no, I don't really care. I love spoilers. You know, it's like if I take the time to go and watch that movie, I'm gonna talk about it. You have no right
Exactly.
in my life to tell me that I can't talk about it. You know, for your sake and for transparency's sake, I will say spoiler alert, but that's it. You get nothing else
Yeah.
from me other than I'm gonna talk about what I watched. in the
Exactly.
time
There was
that
a
I
what
watched
if
it. I'm
already.
not gonna wait 1 week. I'm not gonna wait the appropriate time and whatever crap. I watched it now. I'm gonna talk about it now. End of story.
That's
I
it.
didn't
That's
pay for
it.
my
Always
petrol to
how.
go. Yeah, so it's like if I stay up at 2 a.m. in the morning to watch this
Yeah.
episode, I'm gonna talk about this episode because I sacrificed my sleep for it. I didn't sacrifice your sleep. I didn't sacrifice your petrol. I had to use petrol to go watch the movie. Right? That's all me. You have no say in my life. I will, like I said, for prosperity's sake, say spoiler alert, but that's it. You get nothing else from me.
Yeah.
Either scroll away or unfollow me, block me, whatever crap. But I'm gonna talk about the spoiler. I'm gonna talk about what I watched, why I enjoyed it, and why it's so awesome.
Because that's what you went to go watch it for.
Yes. So that I can talk and engage with people and build a community and actually vibe with people that felt the same way that I did or didn't, whatever the case is. But yeah,
Yeah. I
you have
get
no right. I'm just saying, you have no right in my life to tell me don't post spoilers. Like seriously, you guys think they have control over our lives, yo. Um.
Yo.
All right. So we talked about it. Right. We were talking about Batista. Did he live up to becoming a good actor?
Yeah, yeah. I think that he just showed us a different side of, Dave Bautista.
Gentle
That he can
giant side.
play, yeah. So he can play a different character than, an action hero or a warlord, something like that. But I think he can, play something far more better because as soon as you start being a boxed actor, you lose everything. So I think he wants to avoid being that boxed actor that no, Dave is just an action hero actor, nothing else, nothing more. So I think with this one, he has shown us that he can do other roles. And for me, with this role, he did a good role. He played it very well. So I think
Yeah, he
people
was
should give him a
haunting to
chance.
me, man. He
And
was very haunting, especially that other lady. I think not Adrian, Sabrina. She was haunting to
yes,
me because of her voice. She was so soft spoken. She was almost essentially whispering in every. I don't know whether that was a normal voice, but it was like she just
oh,
talked
Nikki, yeah,
and the way
she's
she
a
was
very good
literally
actor, Nikki.
whispering. I've never seen her anywhere else. This is like the first time I'm seeing her, and she was brilliant in this. But yeah, Davey held a tight ship. He dominated every scene. He just had
Yeah,
this sort of. It was really seeing him in a different light, as an actual good performer with emotions and feeling
yeah,
for the kids that he coached and why he was fighting for them. But even though that was the thing that we talked about yesterday, even though they were fighting for things, like she was fighting for her daughter, Adrian was fighting for her son. She had a son at home.
yeah,
How
Charlie.
crazy, how crazy mothers can get for their sons, and in a lot of movies, sometimes they get so toxic that they'll derail the
Mm.
whole plot. They'll like mess up every character's life just to save their kid, you know? And then with
But
David
they
was
kept in
this
character.
yeah, and with David was the same thing. It was like he was fighting for these kids, even for the world's survival, but at the same time he wasn't impatient about it. He wasn't going to like
Hmm.
um do bad shit or be a bad guy just like be desperate, you know?
Just because they can.
Yeah, like even
Yeah,
that
just
point
because
when
they
he got
can.
the gun back, he could have shot them in the leg to get them from escaping.
But he didn't.
But he was like, no,
Yeah.
I could shoot you in the leg, but I'm not going to. I'm going to still explain to you and take the time to tell you why you need to save the world.
I mean, he even showed them that you think I'm looking at my watch every time because you
Yeah.
think we've timed it. I'm
Yes.
not doing it. You can open, like you can watch the TV again and you can see. So it was believable every time. And I mean, we were just waiting for Batista to be Batista, but he didn't. And
He
that
was
for me,
never Batista, exactly. We were waiting for him to
so,
suplex someone or throw them through the window.
yo, but like
Even when he killed,
there's a shot
even
where,
after that first kill, he like threw up in the bathroom. A very
yeah,
human character that he played. Not at all a big,
Because for me,
muscular, crazy guy.
the, the throwing up of the bathroom and the confusion and like the nervousness, it shows you that when they start to eliminate themselves, it's not them. It's a different energy.
Yeah, it's not like a
And once
murder
that
type
energy is done, yeah. So
thing.
once
It's
that energy is done,
sacrifice.
what it has to do, it they go back to being themselves. And that for me was good because it gave us another, perspective of what's really happening. These four normal human beings have four divine energies within them that they need to deliver this message. And when they cannot, this energy will do as it said it will do, and it did it. Once it's done, they become themselves. So that for me was good, to show us the playing of two worlds in one person. That
Yes,
for me was great
100%.
because
And I
because that
just
actually
remembered
showed you that.
it showed you.
Oh, I was saying it showed me how they paid attention to details within
Mm.
the living world and the unknown world,
Even
which
that
was
they had to
good.
make their own weapons and stuff like that. It was very intricate.
Hey,
They
those
paid
are
so
very
much
insane
attention.
weapons.
And Dave, no, Redmond's one was called Cow Killer, and Batista's
Hmm.
one in the movie is called The Sleeper.
The
So each
sleeper.
weapon had a name. Yeah, each weapon had a name. I don't know what the other two are. So I was
Oh
just
yes,
thinking
yes,
now,
yes.
the
They all
tagline
have
of the
names.
movie is, save your family or save humanity. In my book, I actually wrote a scenario where the son asks the father the scenario, and he's like, "So you're the main character in this scenario, right? And you have information that a bunch of
Mhm.
terrorists want. And if they get this information from you, it could end up killing millions, even a billion. They could wipe out a whole continent. Let's put it that way. That's how much life would be lost,
Yeah.
right? If they get this
Hmm.
information. The only way that they could do that is if they get your information. Okay, and a whole continent is just wiped off the face of the planet. I'm talking like entire
Yeah.
continent, no landmass anymore,
Continents. Yeah.
entire continent, and in a
Yeah.
horrific, horrible way that people are going to suffer, right? So you get captured by this terrorist cell and they want your information. Now, what do they do to try and get it from you? They capture your family. Everybody you know and love is in the next room. They open the door and they show you them. And they're like, all right, here's what's going to happen. Either you tell us this information or we're going to torture your family in front of you and then kill them and leave you alive to know that your family is dead, just so that you can save
Yeah.
the continent. Right? But you will have to watch
Yeah.
them being tortured and probably raped and all the other bad things that terrorists do to people.
Mm.
Right? So you're gonna have to watch that. They're not gonna let you not watch that. Right? Or you can save your family, but then you die and they're gonna leave your family alive to know that their lives are worth 1 billion with the entire continent. So your family has to now love knowing that you died and and the continent is gone. So the choice
It's a
is,
lot,
which
man.
would you choose? Which would you choose? Would you choose to watch your family being tortured to death and and
Mm.
somehow you save humanity and save that continent, or would you would you let your family um, live and the continent dies? 1 billion people, or the whole continent of people suffer horrible deaths and die. Yes, I'm asking you, Charlie.
Sure.
I'm asking you, Charlie. What would you choose?
I know. I know. Man, this is like difficult. I'm trying to think of,
So at
ways to
North
say
Cabin,
maybe
it
if
was
my
for the
family,
whole world. So you would really have a terrible time if you save your family because it's really only you and your family that are left on Earth. And after you die because you can't repopulate the Earth with your family. Come on, that's it sense now.
uh,
So that would have been a messed up scenario.
yo,
But yours is just one continent. You can go live on other continents. But what would you choose? Would you choose to save your family or
Yeah.
humanity, Charlie? Look at him. I think I broke him. He's so finished. He doesn't know what to do with his life. See, my scenario was way
Because
more hectic.
in my head, right? In my head, I'm thinking they should know that I have this thing, and they know that one day they're gonna capture me, and one day I must have this choice. And they know when that day comes, they're gonna die, type of thing. I don't know. I'm just I'm playing it in my head to say, do they
Thinking
know
way
that
down the
like
line in some offshoot scenarios, dude. No, straight up, what would be?
geez,
Do you see what I mean
I
between
don't know.
book? Do you see what I mean by book world building versus thrown together screenplay? The book world building is way
Mm.
more emotional and way more vindictive. Like I think my scenario is more harsh than this one in the movie.
I'm stressed now, bro. I'm stressed.
Wow, Charlie, I didn't think I would break you this much, dude, over the question.
Because you know, like when you have like a very
Yeah, think it
open
through. Walk
brain,
me
like
through your process here.
thinking
Think it
through,
through. What's
and
your
I'm
process?
like,
What's your thinking?
my, like because I'm thinking myself, they should know that when this happens, they're gonna die. Type of- you know, when the day comes, I should prepare them to say, it might not be now, but in 2050,
Also, you
you
are gonna
guys are gonna die
sacrifice.
because I have.
You are gonna sacrifice your family then for one continent.
No, 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 no. I don't know what I will
You're
do.
not. No,
But in my
Charlie, you
head,
have to decide. You have to decide. The terrorists are there. They're not gonna let you not decide.
because now if I say which continent, they're gonna think, this one.
No, no, hold on, bro.
If you told me,
This is my story, so it's one continent. There's no, we don't get to choose what continent we save.
you
They're
see, you see that.
just gonna destroy a continent. So
Yo,
you have no say in the matter. It's just going. We don't know which continent the terrorists are going to blow. Let's put it that way. It's more that when they get this information, they're gonna kill a shitload of people, but it's gonna be like a whole continent will be wiped off the map. Whether they
it
choose
might be my
Africa, whether they
continent.
choose Europe, whether they choose even Australia, it's just the whole continent is
Mm.
gonna be gone. What's it
Yeah,
gonna
no.
be, Charlie? Come on. You can't be tapped, dude. I couldn't have broken you this much. It's just one.
Because I can give them the information and then they kill
Yeah.
my continent, which I'm in already, and they just move to another continent and then they just throw the bomb there. Me and
No,
my
they
family
can't. It's
die.
only the once off. They can't. It's only the once off. And yeah, it's your continent. If it's your continent, fine. But it's either you then you have to live on another continent.
Yo,
Oh, no, no, you'll be dead. If you give them the information, let's put it that's the scenario. You give them the information, you'll be dead. But your family
yeah.
have to live now knowing that 1 billion people sacrificed their life for them. And you'll be dead also. So they'll be sad about that too.
You know what? I'll probably sacrifice myself, man. On this one,
Okay, so let's get this straight. So your option is that you're picking, you'll sacrifice yourself, leave your family alive, but then 1 billion people will die.
no. Did you say if I don't give them the code, one a billion people will die, right?
No, so if you don't give them the code, oh, wait, hold on. I'm messing up my own
You
scenario.
see, you see, you see?
Wait. So the scenario is, right, you don't give them the information, they torture your family, right, in front of you, and then they kill your
Mhm.
family, but they leave you alive, right? So you save the 1 billion people, but you're alive, okay? If you sacrifice yourself, right, they'll leave your family alive, but they'll take the information because you're choosing your family to stay alive. So they'll kill you, they'll leave your family alive, but they'll go kill the 1 billion people. So
Oh
that's what I'm
shit.
saying. When you
Yeah.
sacrifice yourself, it means you're giving up the information.
God, yo.
Wow. That is hectic, man. So are you
Nah,
sacrificing
man.
yourself or your family, Charlie? Which one is going to be?
You know what? I'll probably sacrifice myself. Yeah. Just thinking out loud.
So you think your
But
family is going to accept that you killed 1 million people just to keep them alive?
hey,
It's okay. You won't be
look.
alive to be for them to be angry with you. So it's okay.
Well,
What you doing with your Zoom also? But your mustache keeps moving, bruh. Oh my
I
god.
can
I'll show
see.
you in the replay. It just keeps moving. I don't know why. It's like you got fake mustache on. Are you sure you have a mustache? Or did you put the mustache effect?
Yeah, bro, I do.
Did you put the
And you know
mustache
what?
effect on Zoom? It looks like it's giving you a mustache time.
And look, it's gone now. What the? It's you. It's the fear. It's the fear you bring into the Zoom. Now my
I
mustache is moving
totally
on.
messed with your head there.
And
That's
I've been watching it. I'm like, is it like something? Is it like the filter or is
or
it
what? Yeah,
the light?
it's that touch up appearance thing, I think. But that's weird. I've never seen it happen to anybody else before.
Joe?
Okay.
Maybe it's because I said I'm gonna kill 1 billion
Yeah.
people.
No, it's been from the beginning to it. Okay, so we enjoy this movie. We think it's definitely a rewatch for people. It's not the usual M. Night Shyamalan surprise twist kind of movie, but it's still
Hmm
really fun to enjoy. And yeah, mind the spoilers, I guess. Sorry, we should have given us. I'll give a spoiler. I'll just say it now, right? Spoiler warning. If you didn't watch the movie, go scroll back. Drop the
Yes.
subscribe and come back when you watch the movie. Um,
Spoiler warning indeed.
but yeah, I
Spoiler warning.
enjoyed the movie. There doesn't need to be a crazy critique towards it or intricate critiques to every single tiny thing that went wrong in a movie.
Yeah.
It was just a good
But also,
experience.
but also like if you have watched like Glass Split, The Visit, or Old, you get the sense of what this is like. You
Mm,
get the feeling of what it's like. So I think for me, this is, I mean, Glass was great. Glass gave me a headache.
we did
Gave me a
because
big ass headache.
even that ending, I did not expect that ending at all.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
so pissed off with that ending too. It's like, how could she do that? And she's so nice, but she's such an asshole. Like,
Oh man.
how could you ruin and not even okay? It's okay for the bad guys, but for the good guy too, man. The poor guy who like survived all of this just to get drowned at the end. That was so terrible.
Yeah. And speaking about the ending on, Knock of the Cabin, the ending for me, I liked how he didn't give us the ending that we wanted. He just gave us an ending that we should think it should end. Like the part where, he's gone, but his memories and his spirit is still alive. When they were in the car, the
Playing the
music,
song
that that song specifically.
came on.
And
Yeah.
him, yeah, so like for me, it was perfect.
I was kind of half
They
expecting everybody to wake up, like the sacrifice
Oh shit.
was, yeah. I mean, I think that would have been kind of more wholesome, but not in the vein of horror
Mm.
movie, but like just more wholesome that, even though they made these sacrifices, it wasn't for the sacrifice. It was so that they could learn the meaning of sacrifice and for humanity to actually take note and start being grateful again, start caring about being human, but not in the sense that everybody had to die, so the forced sacrifices and the family sacrifice could come back. I was kind of hoping for that. But yeah, we had to get the sacrifice. It had to be real.
But like, bruh, you saw how they were beheaded. You saw how they died. I don't think they're coming back.
Hey, dude, if this thing caused lightning strikes and planes to fall out of the skies and earthquakes and
Yup.
shit for no reason, then seriously, it could have brought 4 people back from the dead. I think it could have done that.
That
It was causing all
that
this.
was scary actually. Like the lightnings, I was like, oh, oh, oh. It sounds like this movie is like thought provoking. Like it makes you think. Like it literally
Exactly.
makes you think.
Exactly.
And I haven't watched a movie like that in a while. So for me, it was good. It was good. People might actually go and watch it this Friday, no? Yeah, this
Mm.
Friday. So even if like it's a weekend or whatever, it's a good movie to go watch with your friends and with your girlfriend or but like whoever. Just go and watch it.
Yeah, the movie comes
It's
out on
a
the
really
3rd
good.
of February. So go check
Yes.
it out and book your tickets nationwide. New
Yeah.
shows stuck in the core everywhere.
Bruh, don't you think
Okay.
this movie would be like a nice after after movie drinks? So everyone speaks about what would you do, like what you did to me right now.
Yeah. That would be a good one, like a good drinking game. Like get everybody
Yeah,
down. That would
that would be
mess
dope.
people up, man, after they watch this movie. Wow.
Yeah. But shout out,
I
but
dig
shout out
that.
to
I
you.
dig that. Let's get that's going. That drinking game going. All
Yeah,
right,
man.
cool.
But
Thank you
but shout
so
out to you,
much.
YP,
We've got
man.
Charlie here from the Pop Corner, gave us an amazing talk about the Knock at the Cabin movie. We got to watch an exclusive screening. It was amazing. We enjoyed it. Definitely book your tickets and drop a subscribe.
Yeah. And shout out to you, YP, man, for the hookups.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you so much, Charlie. Have an awesome evening,
You too, man. You too. Thank you so much for the invite, man.
man.
Appreciate it.